think we're live. Let's find out. Yeah, there we go. We're live. Hey, welcome to Amberskies, the home of a 3D game. Well, not 3D game and software development, but yeah, I suppose. It's the home to the future of 3D anyway. That's what I do here. My name's Fraser Sharp. People just call me Bladez if they want to. So this is the world of Bladez, what I do here at Amberskies. I'm a research and developer. What does that mean? I do security, shall we say. I take the stuff that I'm given and I break it. There you go. I think that's a good way of putting it. I break stuff on purpose. So it's a bit of a quality control, well, sort of service I give to Amberskies. But there you go. That's not all I do. Yeah, okay, so I break stuff. Let's admit it. Amberskies itself is at www.amberskies.org.uk. This site will never change. This is a something that I set up to help people with Qt3D and the development of it on C++, because there's not a lot out there on it. So I thought, I'll stick some on GitHub for people to have a look at and show what you can do with it. So that's what amberskies.org.uk is about. It may change in the future because this site may be the distribution site for any final products that are made. If that's what's decided, or it'll go to the Play Store or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'll keep this open and explain, or try to explain what the biggest part of my job is. The biggest part of my job is to know things about everything computer. So a lot of research goes on. For instance, last night I was on a course for quantum computing. Q#. I never knew it existed until last night. But there is actually a language out there called Q# now. This is for quantum computing. And I was on the qubit course last night. And very interesting stuff. I learnt about quantum computing and where we're up to today in that computing area. We haven't got very far, put it that way. But it's looking hopeful. What do I use as my computer? Well, let's start there, shall we? And what do I use it for? So my computer is Manjaro. There we go. Manjaro. There you go. Pretty background. And everything Linuxy, or Arch Linuxy, I suppose, if it's Manjaro. Yeah, I suppose so. What tools do I use? Not many. I use something called Dolphin. That's on here. Let's bring that in. I'll pop you over here. Biggest other one is probably Mischief, I suppose, for writing with. Yeah, I think that screen is about my normal type of screen. I will then be given either a subject or some code, and I'm told what they want me to do with it. I think that's the safest way of putting it sometimes. Let's take you out of the way. Actually, no, we can put you back there, can't we? Yeah, that'll do. 12 pixels, yeah. In a nice dark blue. Yeah, that'll do nicely. So, that's alright there. This is my work screen. It contains a browser for browsing around. As you can see, I have a lot of different things like Eclipse, IDEA, which is IntelliJ, code blocks, Sea Lion. That's got to be deleted. I'm not going to be using that again. There's the JetBrains tools, obviously, for that. There's Mischief, which is this. Various bits and pieces, templates, Twitch, and whatever. I've got my Twitch one here, which is where we should be, really. Also, my desktop looks like, well, just bits and pieces. Yeah, Steam. Hey, on Linux, it works. The browser that I use is Opera, not Firefox. Opera, because it's slightly safer than Firefox, shall we say. So, hello to my viewer. Welcome. It's nice to see a viewer. If anybody wants to put anything in chat, they may do so. Let's start with an example of what I do. So, I got asked a question whilst online, and I did some research, and I didn't do any development, I just did some research. So what they were asking about was something called, let's have a look, Electron. Well, that is very thick, isn't it? Okay. Let's take you down a bit. Let's go back down to about 8. Okay, let's try that again. That looks a bit better. So, Electron. And mono. I'm not pressing down hard enough, am I? Alright, so, yeah, I think that we can go a bit thinner on that as well. So let's just go down to 4. Okay, so that's what the question was about. And that's, can you communicate between the two? So is there like a communications way library, maybe, or something like that? So, in my time, I have come across mono and I have come across Electron. Electron is a web browser windower. So that is a windowed, oh, that might be too thin. Windowed browser. Go back up to 6. There we go. And mono is it's the .NET framework from Microsoft. Now, both of these things are cross-platform. There's no problem using any of this across platform. So how do you research something like that? It's quite simple, really, because I'm on Manjaro, and there's not really too many problems with Manjaro. Lucky, huh? And one of the things I also use in day-to-day is this. This is Octopi, which comes with Manjaro, and it's the package manager for Manjaro. Now, Electron. It's a piece of software. There it is. I've actually got it installed by accident. It just happens I have Electron installed. This gives me the build cross-platform desktop apps with web technologies. Yeah, okay. URL http electronjs.org. So that gives me something straight away. Electronjavascript.org. I know what JS is. Depends on library that performs DNS requests, complete solution to record, convert and stream audio and video, and there's a few more here. Snappy, a fast compressor decompressor library. All right, okay. That's quite interesting. Now, I haven't got this on my computer because I downloaded it. Or have I? Wait a minute, there's some other stuff here. Optional dependencies. Yeah, okay. Open URLs, desktop defaults. Yeah, okay. Interesting stuff here. Architecture 8664. Build date, oh, quite recent. Installed as a dependency for another package. Electron was installed by something else. So I've installed something that uses Electron. And here it is. And it depends on APM Electron for libx blah, 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 and it's an editor. So Atom, and I've got it installed because it's an editor. So this brings me to another part of the puzzle. Let's just minimize you here. So the next part of the puzzle is I now have something called Atom. And that is, I'll call it a text editor for now. Because I use Explore within so many different languages, I tend to use generic text editors. Alright, I don't know why I did it that way, but never mind. Daft. Okay, editors, alright. So we've got Atom, which is this text editor. Let's just go back to it a minute. Okay. APM. Atom Package Manager. Oh. We've got an Atom Package Manager here. Okay. Let me just pull that pen down a minute. Let's go back to mouse. Alright, so APM. There we go, we've got a package manager. Can we blow this up a little bit? Yes, we can. That looks a bit better. So we've got all of this thing, which, well, it's JS. APM sounds very similar to something else I've come across. So Atom hasn't just given me a text editor. It's given me the Atom Package Manager as well. So let's note that down. As you can see, this is starting to fill up. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, hold on a minute. APM. That's Node. There's an NPM. Oh, I've got that on my system as well. Explicitly installed because I saw APM, so I installed NPM to find out what was going on. This is JavaScript. That N and that A, by the way, APM is Atom Package manager. npm is node package manager. Do I have node? I do. There we go. Node.js. V8 JavaScript. Installed as a dependency for another package. It's required by APM. And then optional dependency is NPM. So APM, Node, Geep, NPM, and Semver, semantic version parser, used by NPM. So all of this links together. So this is Node.js. Alright. So now we know what we're really dealing with here. This links through to npm, and this really now starts to become Node.js. I'll just call it that one. It's supposed to have a dot there, isn't it? So what we've got now is Node.js and Mono. Mono isn't a language. If you were to use Mono on Windows, you'd probably be using something like C# or F#, which is Java-based Microsoft languages. So, I'll note that down. C#, F#. Now, these are derivative languages. This is where Microsoft has stolen well, I'm not going to say stolen somebody else's languages, but said, oh, that language is good, let's check it out. These are derivatives or copies of Java. Now, you may be saying, hold on a minute, isn't Java JavaScript? And the answer to that is not equal. So that is equals with a big not in front of it. No. Java is nothing like JavaScript. They are two completely different languages. It's apples and pears time. I'm very sorry, but no. So does Node do Java? We've got npm. Let's have a look. npm. Just type npm in here. Oh, that looks familiar. It looks like the last one we just did. Oh. Okay. Let's have a look at npm node. No. Okay, npm list. Search. There we go. These are all the things that you can download for Node or Node.js. It gives a tiny application, resolves. Snapdragon node class for creating God knows what. Snapdragons probably. Elm compiler Sass. Oh my god, it's got quite a bit. TypeScript. Locator program, yeah. URL parser. RAF, request animation frame. There's some interesting things in there. So, yeah. Okay. So, that's that. If I do APM search node, I get a different list. And this is what we can do with Atom. Okay, Node Debug. Debugging interface for Atom using Node Inspector. There you go. We've got all of these different things we can use. This is research. This is how I do my research. So we've got nodey things. Let's try npm search Java. Hello, Muppet. Oh, I can't see it. Oh! Create a JavaScript. Regex. Regular expression. Not. Bridge API. Pardon? APM install, visit, oh no, right, okay, it starts here, blah de blah de blah, author, right, so there's a bridge to Java, so that means we can bridge this not equals. Now that is interesting. Where are we? Oh. ECMAS. What? Unicode property aliases. Wow. Nice one. Optional JS. I mean, I typed in Java, I'm still getting JS here. Okay. I'm interested in that. I mean, why is it there? Can I find out more about it? I would have to go to the npm place and look up this Java thing here. So I can keep that there for a minute anyway. Did I close Opera? Oh no, okay. Alrighty, so I want npm, don't I? Yeah. Alrighty, let's have a look at this more closely, shall we? npm. And that's URL is here. There we go. Build amazing things, essential JavaScript development tools that can help you. Enterprise product solutions resources. Docs and support. Okay. Learn about JavaScript development. Okay. So where is npm? Where's it all kept? GitHub. Okay. A community site. That's interesting. Documentation. Alrighty. Go to the top of the page and see if there's a search bar. Yeah. Java. Java collection for Node. An implementation of the JACDAC protocol in TypeScript. I'll put my search tag on that, come on. Do something. Here we go. This is the thing I want to look at. Bridge API to connect with existing Java APIs. Google Groups discussion forum. Okay. Other projects that might be helpful. Node, Java, Maven. Oh. Really? So npm that's in Node.js can connect through to Java. Yes. That's interesting. Installation in Windows gives a lot more information as usual because it's like that. Using Node Git. Okay. If you want to play with Node Java but don't want to set up the build environment, you can run it in Docker. Okay. File called test.js with the following contents. Wow. Manual compilation for Java. Okay. Yeah. Installation Node WebKit. Okay, using Node Java in existing Maven projects. Then create the following module, Java init. Okay, dependency, target, yeah, okay. Quick examples, blah de blah de blah. Create a character, yeah. So yes. It's got all the information you need here. Make it easy for complex applications to have full control over JVM, correct? Yeah. Easy to compose an application from several modules, each of which must add to the Java class path and possibly do other operations just before or just after the JVM has been created. Okay. There we go, that's all Java stuff. Call method, get set field. Wow. That's rather interesting. So you can branch out into Java anytime you want. That, according to me, must mean that you can branch out into C#. There's a lot more of this page to go, so I'm not going to go through it all because normally I would do, and then I'd make sure it's an MIT license at the end so you can use it. But that needs to be read and understood. So search packages. Let's try C#. Okay, is it doing it? There we go. Create compliant struct instances on top of buffers. Okay. Reuniform ref. Create C array instances on top of buffers. Fast native C# dialect and cross compiler. It's called Fuse. There you go. So I was right. If you can get to Java, you can get to C#. Now, if you can get to C#, can you take that one step further out of C#? So I've found C# now. How good are we doing at this point? Let's check in. We are doing possibly okay. So we now have Node.js to Java, and we can now also put proper arrows in here. So that to that. Can we go from that to that? Has anybody done F#? Now you're wondering, why should they? It's very important, this. Very, very important. If they've gone to F sharp, then they have completed the circle. Okay, help on opening URLs. npm update to F. Simple polyfill request. Frame browser, yep. Storage management. TypeScript definition of files parser for Fable. Oh no, I said F sharp. Do I put Microsoft in front of that? Do you think? Fahrenheit. Yeah, great. It's coming up with all the rubbish now, isn't it? Okay. F seems to be something to do with Node.js. Darn it. And there's a lot we need to specify. Fuse with. We'll try that. That's been used before. Fuse with F sharp. Okay. Nothing. I'm not sure this is going to return anything. Concatenate file contents with a custom separator and generate a source map. No, that's not really going to help us. Tiny wrapper around Fuse.js fuzzy search library using React hooks. Okay. Fuzzy search. The UI framework used to build Fuse apps. Okay, we'll look in here then. Yes. Fable. Okay. F sharp. So it is in here. So the answer to can you use mono with Electron, the answer is yes. It's here. So I need to find out what Fable is. Next. An entity behavior management and API bundling library. Okay. It's tiring to set up logging and settings management in every application you write. Fable provides a single-line solution to have simple logging to the console via Bunion. Really? Add a simple configuration object, and it can also write the log to a file or even MongoDB. There you go. Database. A Mongo database. install. Fable, quick start. Okay. Some colour red. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Alright. Which one? I'll put the following to the terminal. Terminal node index.js. Name Fable, host name, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. From this example you can learn the following. It is pretty simple to start using the library. The logging output looks really weird on a standard terminal. Yeah, okay. Ha ha ha. Logging. Alright, yeah. Okay, so it's a logging system. That's interesting. So does that mean Fable Fuse is a standalone? Or is it does it depend on this logging thing? It's interesting. So there's my answer. We have finally done it. We have connected the circle. Everything can be done is the answer. So the question I was asked, is there a simple way of connecting mono with electron? And yes, there is. So how am I going to explain this to the person that asked the question? Okay. So it was fuse F sharp. That was C sharp. Look at that one. This is Fable. Yeah, this is the one. So the library published 3 years ago. Wow. Fable bindings for fuse. Okay. So what you need to look at is fuse. That's the library. So we've got Fable fuse. I'm guessing that just gives fuse logs. Keywords. I think I need to look at fuse by itself. Okay. Can I do that? Which one? I've got fuse. Uno. Fuse. Okay, that's the Uno. Okay, let's just have a quick look at this. Fuse SDK, build native mobile user interfaces using UX markup language and JavaScript, TypeScript, blah blah blah. Where you can easily access native APIs in Java, Objective-C and C++ for rapid development. You can even build and test your app directly on your desktop. Okay. Alright. This is... That Uno keeps coming up. Interesting. This keeps coming up. Okay. Well, that looks more like Java. Right, that's Uno. Swift, Objective-C, Java, and C++, so it should accept C#. Why haven't they mentioned that? Okay. Go back one. No. So what's this? Collection of Uno libraries that provides a UI framework used for build Fuse apps. Okay. Mac OS, Mono, Xcode, and CMake. Hold on a minute. It's got Mono. There, in big letters. Android build tools. How do I build and test? So Mono was the thing I was aiming for. So it's Fuse libs. Fuse open, Fuse libs. That is where my research points me. This is what I do as a job. I find these things and then I have to read them. Obviously, I can't present them to anybody, you know, and say, use this until I've actually tested out that these things work. Test with RunKit. Interesting. So I am on there. Copy. That is the place I wish to be if I want to go any further with that kind of research. Now, at this point, I've done the research. This is it. This is my job done. I can't paste on here, can I? Save as, blah, blah, blah. Edit. Nah, I can't paste on here. Never mind. I can paste in here, though, can't I? Paste. There we go. Got it. So, Electron to Mono. My answer, or final answer, at this stage, because I haven't been given, say, go ahead with it, is HTTPS : yeah, dots are hard for me to do, www.npmjs.com package. Ooh, that's okay. Pack age And then it's cheating, aren't I? Yes. Package, and then it's at fuse open slash fuse lips, and that is the answer that I would give in reply, and that's what my job does. Okay. There we go. And that's it. That's how I do my job. What I don't advise what to do with it. I was asked a question. Can you use the electron with mono? Yes, you can. And that's the answer. So there you go. That's how I do my job. I sit here with this notepad, note paper open, which I scribble on, as you can see. I sit on the left-hand side with a console and a browser, usually on my desktop, because, yeah, it just agrees with what I've got down bottom left. I have an extra button on my desktop which gives me my whole file system, which is when you see that black screen there. This is my whole file system. All applications are in here. So you can see, you'll see some of them scrolling up. But my whole system is here, which is how I knew I had electron and atom. Yeah, it's rather interesting because I get to look at things from a research perspective rather than programming all the time. I am asked to program at times. I'm thinking about assembler as my new programming language. Not too sure how I'm going to approach that yet, but anyway. I mean, I don't really need much to... Let's have a look at Atom. Whilst we're here. I mean, I've done my job, I've done my work. I put that into a file, I save it out, and I just throw it over onto the server, into the answers, or into to their mailbox that says, there's your answer. That's what I do. Neat, huh? You'll find people say, how do you start a project? Or, I want to write this, but I don't know how to get it started. Well, this is exactly the way you start anything or everything. You find out what you can do, what you're most comfortable using. In this case, I would be most comfortable probably using Java with this, rather than C# or F#, and I definitely wouldn't be using Mono. But that's a different story. It's got that word in it. I want to have a look at Atom. Atom. Oh, wait a minute, let's just clear this off. So if I'm on the desktop and I atom my desktop, okay, let's atom dot. Nothing. Okay. Ooh, that did something. Okay, which one did which? That's Atom by itself, and that's Atom desktop. Okay, let's grab this one. What the heck's it doing? Oh, I see. Right up in the top corner here somewhere. Missed it. There we go. Let's bring you down to here. And pull you in. There. Alright. A hackable text editor for the 21st century. Atom. Oh, we've got docs, forum, org. Yeah. Okay. Right. Get to know Atom. Open a project. Version control. Collaborate in real time with teletype. That's an interesting one. Install a package. Choose a theme. Okay, what we got here? We've got desktop. So yeah, it does what I thought it might do, which is good. Alright. Telemetry consent. Okay, yes. Fine. We'll get rid of that one. So how would I use this? I would use it in exactly the same way that I would use Microsoft Code, which people have probably seen me use before. I'd use it. I think this is what Microsoft Code was invented to, how can you put it, compete freely with. It does the same kind of features. I'm on the desktop, so let's make a directory. We'll call it Atom Workspace. Why put it on the desktop? It's so that I can remember to delete it later. CD Atom. I don't need to. There you go. CD Atom Workspace and Atom dot. Just give it some time. There we go. We've now got an Atom Workspace. So, open a project. Who cares? New file. New file. File. New file. Open. Open. Add project folder. Oh, yes. It is exactly the same as Microsoft one. Okay. Add project folder. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I'm interested in the ones it comes up with. It just comes up with recent. Okay, so let's ask it to add itself. That's good. That's good. It didn't fall for the trick. No, I'm not really interested in doing that. Welcome guide. No, we don't. Hack on the init script. Oh, let's just have a look at that. The init script is a bit of JavaScript or CoffeeScript run at startup. You can use it to quickly change the behavior of Atom. Open your... What? Okay. Init coffee. Yeah, right. I'm not doing that. Don't save. Wow, I like that. That's funny. Add a snippet. Yeah. Choose a theme. Open the theme picker. Atom Dark. Very, very descriptive. Solar. Oh, God. Development themes and get. Yeah, okay. I'll skip this as well. Nice. So it looks a bit new folder. Sandbox. I use sandboxes quite a lot, don't I, really? So we'll have a sandbox. Okay. Where is it? Come to me, sandbox. Thank you. What we're going to put in sandbox, a new file. I'm just going to call it what? I'm going to call it something .js. So what is this project? Oh, it's sandbox. So I'll call it sandbox.js. And there we are. We're doing JavaScript. Anybody know how to do JavaScript? If you know in chat, let me know. Yeah, that's quite nice. I might actually do some JavaScript. I was doing atomic stuff last night, and now I'm looking at JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the most useful or powerful implementations for web development. A lot of people learn it, and a lot of people make a complete mess of it. I know that because of part of my job as a research and developer is to break things made in JavaScript. So, I can't talk about that. I'm not allowed to. Damn. Never mind. Security. As soon as I mention anything that closely resembles security, my boss will say, no, we have to stop there. We're not allowed to say that in public. Okay. Ah, dear. Lovely, me coffee's going cold. How long are we on now? We're on about the hour mark, and we've had an in-depth study into what I do. So let's say I want to write something in Node.js. What would I do? The first thing I would do is I would open my Octopi, how I install my package manager. I type in Node. Node.js comes up. I look at that, and it says, hey, look, there is this. Okay. Home, about, download, docs. Docs. Alright. Here we go. Some weird things here. Versions? Versions? I don't know anything about versions. What versions? Version 12.9.11. Okay. We have a version. Guides. Getting started. Here we go. How do I start with Node.js after I've installed it? Once you've installed Node, let's try building our first web server. What? You're serious? Alright. Let's build a web server. That's what they say. Alright. Copy. Let's do what it says. So it's just Node and then the name to run it. Fantastic. A little bit disturbing, but fantastic. Atom, where have you gone? Here you are. There we go. Control. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Whoa, this is better. Oh, wow, this is ace. Yeah, I can see that. So what it's saying is const HTTP require HTTP. That is the same as saying hash include a library in C, C Sharp. No, it's import in C Sharp, isn't it? And Java. So that's what it's doing there. Then we are setting our global variables that we are going to use during this process. This is a process, by the way. I wouldn't call it a program. So we're setting our global variables for the host name and the port. The host name is local, which is 127.0.0.1. The port we're choosing is 3000. It could be anything. Doesn't matter. The server that we are creating is a callback. I can tell that because it's got an arrow on it. Request and res. Receive. Not sure what RES stands for. Does it tell us? If I click on here, does it give us any information? No. Okay. That's fine. So we've got a rec and a res. Rec doesn't seem to do much in this. I don't think... Oh, right, it's because we're just printing out hello world. We're not requesting anything. Server, listen, port, host name. Callback. Console log server running at blah 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 blah, port, blah blah blah. So it's actually got a listen on it as well. Host name and port. That should be 8080. No. We'll keep it like that. Why not? So we need to save it. Save. Done. Okay. Does this thing have a console? Panes? No. Oh, that's nice. I like the package menu. Very good. Where's the console, people? Does anybody know where the console is in this thing? It's called Atom. File. Blah, 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 blah. Edit, view, selection, find, packages and help. Well, okay. So I saved it. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. So, what have we got now? We have... clear. Okay, so let's have a look. We now have Sandbox. Do it the old-fashioned way. We'll use keyboard today. So we're in Sandbox. As you can see, it changes up here as well for me. Very nice. So we've got sandbox.js in there. So node sandbox.js. Okay, was I supposed to do this in a browser? Okay, that's going to be local colon. Is it 2 colons? I don't know. 8080. Local server IP address could not be found. DNS probe finished. And okay. Well, thank you there for your little graphic. Okay. Don't try local. Let's try 127.0.0.1. And it's saying 8080. Well, if I do that, there isn't. There's nothing. I want 3000, please. That's what I'm using. There we go. Hello world. So it worked. Isn't that exciting? Our first process worked. So that's Node.js. Interesting. That's very interesting, because I wouldn't have done it that way at all. That is amazing. Amazingly silly. You keep shifting across for some reason. Thank you. So, yeah. We've now got this server running. What do we do about it? They didn't put that in the instructions, did they? So control, is it C? There we go. We're out of it. Did that close the server? Ah. Okay. Let's pop that back in. Yes, it did. Okay, that's fine. As long as it closed the server, I don't want to leave it open for you lot to go and hack my computer to pieces. Don't do this live like I just did. If you have this server running and you are streaming, and I know I've got viewers, so you can see it, you can just type in my IP address at 3000 and enter my computer. Not a good idea to do what I just did. Alright, so first word of warning, security. Don't do what I just did. That is like committing internet suicide. That's just like saying, anybody over here, mateys, I've got an open socket. Yeah. Not good. So don't do that. I really don't like the setup. So what I would advise you to do is to use something like Electron, in which you can privately have a private server within a virtual. Java itself runs on a server, on a web server, and that is VMS, is it? Whatever it is, VMJ. It's a virtual machine. So that's the next thing you want to start thinking about. How do you want to develop? So don't use that in a live environment like I just did. Alright, that's the first thing. This is just a test to show you how to do things. Atom, where did Atom go? So there's your test. And it's that simple. I have questions about that which aren't covered here. It's just put this in and it works. Great. Status code 200. I know what that means. I know what 404 means. Yeah, error. That's interesting. 200. I'd have to look at the status codes. I know they go up to 800 or something strange. I used to know that. I know of them. That's my job. My job is to know of things, not to actually know the details. I know where to get the details. And that's the whole point. JavaScript, very easy language. What I would advise you do, though, is at least buy or read a book or audio book. Do not, and I mean do not, do what I just did. Don't go onto onto YouTube, find a video like this and say, "Oh, it's doing JavaScript. Oh, great! I'll do whatever they do in the video." Don't. If they suddenly do what I just did there, you're going to have problems with your computer quite soon. Just a word of warning. That's why I didn't download any of this, because I haven't been asked to check it. I just was asked, can it be done? Now, another part of my job is, I'll say, security. Okay? Which is why I know not to do this. Like we have a web page. Okay, let's pop that up a second. Let's put this back into place. It's where we started. Now, oh, no, that's my YouTube page. We have Amberskies next to it. Here we go, Amberskies. Make sure it's working. www.amberskies.org.uk. Okay. So this is our web page, but you'll notice up in the top left-hand corner, not secure. Click on it. Always click on it. Your connection to this site is not secure. That's interesting. So what? Enter full screen. No. Save as. Save as. View frame source. Inspect element. Oh, look on the right hand side what we've got here. Yeah. Console. HTML details element. Okay. Nothing there. Sources. Oh. There's localhost. Control-Shift-P run command. Okay. Control. All I do is follow what the instructions are. P. Wow. These are all the commands. Isn't that nice? But you can see the problem with this web page. And I'm highlighting this because, yeah, it's a bit unsafe, which is why on this web page there is nothing at all to do with money. The only thing you have on here is contact me, is the only button, and it's done that way on purpose so that you could contact me. It just gives my mail address in the bottom left hand corner. It comes up here, down there. And thanks for popping by, of course. I actually made this for a convenient way to do that. To be quite honest with you. To get to my Qt 3D stuff. So yeah, that's all I ever did it for. And yeah, there's my name, Fraser Sharp. I did all of this, yes. Thank you. But it's interesting that a website like this can exist as a non-secure website, and it will always be a not secure website. If people want to hack it, go ahead, hack it. I don't care. It's not part of my daily routine to use this website. I don't think it's part of anybody's daily routine to use this website. Can see why. And there you go. That's how I do my job. I follow breadcrumbs across systems and find out if there is a security issue, say, with a system. Like a system being running Java, can I slide Node.js underneath to do something not so nice to the application that's running on the internet. There's a lot of things that's wrong on the internet, and there's a lot of things that you can do which would be very ugly to the person who had a website, and it would be not very nice. That's one of my specialties, but I don't use that in an offensive way. I use that internally, and I don't use this open system at all. So, how should we protect ourselves? Right, this is important. Okay, developers, programmers, everybody out there. One of the things that you must do is, I'm going to say it. Protect your development. I'll say devs. Okay, this is a massive go-to, and this is free advice I'm giving. All right, this is part of my job. I look at protection, and one of the parts of that is it worth it? For the thing I just ran and then cancelled within so many seconds, and it's going to be deleted at the end of this video, is any kind of protection worth it? No, because it was an example. What should you be looking at to protect your development? You should be looking at a development environment. So, why did my pen just change? Interesting. Oh, right, it's the way I'm writing. Dev environment is critical. Anytime you have an idea to develop anything, set up an environment. If you can, use virtual. Okay, so set up a virtual machine and do all your programming on that. Oh, sorry, I'm not actually. It links you can't. Yeah, I know. Links you can't. I got your answer at final last. It's https www.np. It's this thing here. I'll put it up in full somewhere. Can I put it up in full here? Doubt it, because I think I deleted it. No, it's no longer in there. Let me just get that on screen again. Your answer for Electron to Mono is https, that line there. If you can't read it, I'll type it in. Twitch upgrades your IP. Yes, it does. That's correct. Linksy in chat is absolutely correct that when you're streaming, for somebody to know my IP, they would have to hack into the Amazon's cloud network, which is where everything on here goes to first before it comes to you. So you're actually receiving my stream from an IP which is Amazon Cloud, not my IP. That's how their security works. It's https, I don't know if you need to put that in, //www.npmjs.com /package /at fuse FUSE hyphen or minus sign open OPEN /fuse libs FUSELIBS. Links you can. Please go check that out. That answers the question in full. Can you combine Node.js with Electron and Mono? Yes, you can. It's on that page. I think that page is a big one as well. So there's a lot of information there. That's the one that I found. And it's on the NPM package manager. So it's downloadable. You just put npm at fuse-open, I suppose, /fuselibs or whatever. I think, anyway. I didn't search, so I'll do that now. npm search fuselibs. Fuselibs. There we go. It's npm at fuse-open /fuselibs. Description. Yeah. Author. Yeah. Name. So there's your thingy. npm that, and it'll download it, and you'll be able to then use it to tie that program together that you were trying to do. So yes, you now have the full answer. Right, I was talking about security, which is a big subject, because at the end of the day there isn't any. So I'll just pop you up here, so you can copy that if your heart's content. So the development environment, use a virtual machine if you can, and put everything on a virtual machine. Also, make sure that your virtual machine will read and write to a USB stick, or you can put it to an external hard drive which you can then unplug, and at the end of each day you copy down anything that you have developed to that Git. Make it a Git repository on a USB or on a hard drive that you can disconnect, and then so you do your Git update and then you disconnect it overnight. And when you want to do some more development, you connect it back in. You do your development and then you connect it back in and do your Git commit, and then you unconnect it. You should only have your full code in two places, on either a virtual machine or a protected area on your actual machine, i.e. hard drive that's encrypted, something like that. And you should have a Git repository which is not connected to any machine, that you can connect to your machine at your leisure, only for a minute or a few seconds at random times of the day. Don't make it the same time every day. That way, doesn't matter what happens to your machine or your development environment, if it all gets messed up or something goes horribly wrong, you can wipe the whole thing and reinstall all of your development from your Git repository, which is the only safe repository that you have. You may also want to use a secondary repository for daily commits, depending on team size. It's your choice how you want to set it up, but I would personally use a virtual machine if I was going to be doing a private endeavour, like making a game or making something that's going to go out on the web. I would have it all being processed in there, never on my main machine. Never. That is so dangerous. It really is. So that's my little note on security. I don't want to be wandering past your website one day and find out that you've got port 3000 open and just walk in and have a quick look around and say, oh, that's nice. Don't do it. Don't do it on your main machine. It's just a hint. Because everybody has their favourite ports. I have my favourite ports. It's just one of those things. So yeah, it's been an interesting little experiment this. I've been through Atom, which now has a program in it, in JavaScript. Linksy how do you start a JavaScript? Is it set up or something? A function? Linkscat's looking through the Fuse docs. I saw F# and C# in there. Which is what you use, or were using, I believe, at the time. I think you were using F# if I remember rightly. Let me just check. Yeah, I've got F# noted down. So, yeah, it's an interesting world. Here we go. Yeah. You're absolutely correct, Linksy. It's written in what I assume is an open source version of C#. Yeah, probably. Yeah, absolutely. C# would be probably the go-to there because it's easy. It's an easier crossover for Java, where F# isn't. It's similar, but oh dear, something just fell. Eek. It's similar, but it doesn't have the same kind of way of thinking about classes, shall we say. F# doesn't really have that class thing going on. It goes more like Node.js with global environments. So yeah, different languages handle programming differently, which is also an interesting subject. So yeah, okay, we've wandered onto it. Why not? Let's pop this up here. So you want to develop. Hold on a minute. Linkscat. To start a Node.js script, you just use the command node. Yeah. So you can actually put anything in there. Okay. I just thought it might have a main or something like C++, but it doesn't, does it? No. You can have other files to implement stuff. Yeah. Okay. And you can have dependencies. Yes, got it. I think I've worked out how to program in Node.js now. Languages. What do you use to develop your idea? So let's look at developing an idea. I have to do this as well. I do a lot actually. Research and development does all the thinking bits. So developing an idea, somebody comes in with an idea. Let's say they say, oh, I've had this fantastic idea for a desktop clock. So, okay, desktop clock. You can set this yourself as a simple assignment to do. Alright, because it's actually one of the common ones that people would use as a warm-up to programming in a language. They would do an exercise in creating a desktop clock. It's probably one of the first things I would do in Node.js because that will give me the insights that I need to program. I'll write a script, name name and a command in package.json and use npm run name. Right. So npm can do it. I didn't know that. npm run. Okay, package.json. If Twitch... Oh, right, no. It didn't, luckily. Right, Linksy just describing how the setups work. Yeah. Yeah, I knew about the package JSON. I was just figuring that out in my head and putting it all back together. Yeah. The package JSON is usually full of the settings and dependencies. It'll be like a global environment setup, detailing everything that's required to run. All scripts, it'll detail in there or something like that. A bit like a makefile, but not. So, yeah, developing an idea. My warm-up would probably be this desktop clock thingy. Why would I choose something like that? Because it will include external dependencies from whatever the base language is. And it will also force me to structure something. I don't have an offline server set up, and I haven't got a virtual machine on here at the moment because I'm not using them for the videos. My system gets wiped every now and again, so it doesn't hold anything on here. Linksy comes back in most Node frameworks. The package file can have most of the settings and startup scripts in it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I understand that. It's a bit, in a way, it's like the Qt file that I use with Microsoft Code, and I detail a lot of information in there about the whole thing, the whole package, the whole program, as it were. Am I using that currently? No, I'm not. That's a shame. I could have shown you. No, that's actually quite interesting. So yeah, here's the problem with this. What language? Where should you start? If you are a non-programmer, I would choose the hardest you can find. If you've never programmed before, use assembly language or C. Okay? And it will probably take you a year to do that in assembly language. So, the hardest language you can learn, I would say, is assembly language. Okay. The next one up from that is C. We'll call it C. The next one up from that is C++. After that we get the split, and we have Java, and we have C# over here, don't we? I think that Node.js is here-ish for web development, and you might find F# is probably similar. Another one, if you're a very, very experienced programmer and you've already, been in the business for a while, consider using Python. Lisp. Yes, I just said it. Lisp. And what did I start with? I started with ASM, didn't I? I'm just trying to remember what was around at that time. That's a good point, actually. What was around at that time? Let's have a search. History of programming languages. That'll do. Okay, blah 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 blah. Fortran is the one I was trying to work out. I think. Okay, it was started in 1883. I mean, people don't realise it goes back that far, but it's true, it did. Assembly language wasn't invented until 1949. That's what I started with, but not in 1949. I'm not that old. I am old, but not that old. Fortran was one of the ones that was around. In 64, Lisp is a good one. Fortran's a good one to use, to really brush up on your skills as a programmer. Pascal, no. What we got in the chat? Alright, in chat, the cat says, I usually tell people to start with ASM and HTML and just converge down to something like JVM. Yeah. Language or C++. I think JVM, really, if you're going to converge to a language, just Java on the Java virtual machine. It's a safe way of development and it produces results quickly. So Java is possibly what I'm going to finish this on. So Basic was around. I used to use that at home, not at my learning area. Oh, look at this. 1972. SQL was developed by Donald D. Chamberlain and Raymond F. Boyce at IBM. What did you guys do? Oh dear. And yeah, there's then some weird stuff. Then we get to C++ in 83. So that's really where I came in 83. That was my interest. That year was my interest. It came out. Oh boy, Ball and C++. Who did this? It was Jan Stroustrup. But that's where I come in. I started there, so yeah, some people had a head start on me. Looking, Haskell's still going. Yeah, I suppose so. It's mathematical. Python's still going from 91. 83 for C++. It's gone through quite a few generations though. Yeah. Java was 95. And in 1995, when Java came on the scene, something happened to computer programming. It became easier. It became accessible. And by the year 96, yeah, all of these ones here, Java, PHP, Ruby and JavaScript, all the same year. That package there, That's your web. That's your development. So if you want to develop something that's going to be web friendly, that's your development environment. Those are your languages that you are aiming to learn. If you want to brush up on languages, I would advise changing down to ASM or something, assembler, or C. C is probably the easier one. I did a lot of work in C, an awful lot, and a lot of it was pointless, but a lot of it's still used today by a company you might know. Rolls-Royce, yes. That was my first, I wouldn't say contract, but putting my toe into the water, designing code that could be run from the command line using C. So it was like an operating system I built for getting answers to questions that they had to ask. And it was quite tricky because it involved floating point numbers. And I had to get the floating point numbers to 6 decimal places. And as anybody will tell you today, you can't get that accuracy with floating point numbers. Yes, you can. But that's not the point. Floating point numbers today are only accurate to 4 decimal places. Which is an interesting point. Could go into that next if you want, after languages. So yes, 1995. Anything that was invented in 1995 is the way ahead on the web. Things before 1995 are the way to make things so 83 to 91. If I was going to outline something, I'd probably use Python, and if I was going to program something, I'd probably use C++. Because it's easier than that bunch of stuff in the long run. You would also use these within your project probably for accessing the networks, but that's your choice. I can also do it in C++. I've already shown that in other videos. PHP. Right. This gets a special mention. PHP. Just circuit transistors. Yeah. PHP gets a very, very big mention because it's probably one of the most misunderstood language. I'm hesitating because I don't know if it still is, but it was at the time. If you have PHP code on a web page, it's the most powerful piece of code on that web page. This, what's it called? Personal homepage, PHP. This is dangerous. This language is the most dangerous one to use. And it's the one where most web attacks will succeed. In other words, you go to a web page, fingers on, hands on the keyboard, typing away. Oh, we found a PHP entry point. Oh dear. And what language do these web pages use for their communications? Usually their communications are to databases. And the database is... Oh, there aren't that many database programming languages here, are there? Here it is. SQL, Structured Query Language. It's a nice language. It's very easy to query databases and to structure your database using SQL. The format is called MySQL. It's downloadable. There's also PostgreSQL. I suppose, but there's two. There's two. MySQL is the standard, and, well, everything that you see here is we have a problem. Because now what I'm talking about is, hold on a minute, what language? The answer is all of them. Why limit yourself? Use the lot. Use everything you can. Use the right language in the right place. You want speed, calculations, and accuracy. You need manipulations and security. Oh, yes, we are looking in this area. If you need structured calculations that are repetitive and usually to the power of 2, look in here. If you are looking for display and getting things out quickly, you've got something that can tie all of these together even easier. There's another language called OpenGL, which isn't a language. So there's that as well that you can add into all of this mix. All of these languages were created down this line. So all of these languages here, possibly part of, some other languages. So they match up somewhere. So APIs for them aren't impossible. I'm just thinking there about Python, actually. I think that's the awkward one. Which one of these do I want? Not that one. Ooh, get rid of you. This one here, please. We'll have you. Let's have a look. Where's Python again in this order? Yeah, it is a derivative. Damn it. Perl's interesting because that's the original scripting language. So I include Perl as well. Python. Perl is used these days mostly in the structure of Ruby. Is it Ruby on Rails and Perl? I think so. Those languages go together. But there's tons of things you can do. I'm just thinking, this is an interesting little experiment. So, this was a Node.js getting started rubbish, wasn't it? Okay. Yes, Fuse. This is where I got that thing from. It's still here. Alright, it's got mono in it for the Mac OS. So there's your mono. It's already in there. It's part of the Fuse libs. There we go. Let's see. I'll keep that open. Let's do a wiki search. And I'm going to do a wiki search on a program, any program. Let's choose a program. Something that's really, really successful. And let's do World of Warcraft. Let's just do a wiki, a World of Warcraft. Okay. Right, starting account, ongoing gameplay, settings, subscriptions, parental plot, development. Okay. Right, so that's 2001 this all started in. So you've already got an idea of what they were using for their implementation. What they were going to use. OpenGL, yeah, I knew about that already. Yeah, okay, variations, post-launch development. Okay, expansions. Alright. And it goes into security concerns. Yeah, keystroke logging. these were the things that they were open to. And this is what I'm talking about now, these security. Keep it out. Keep it off the web when you're developing. When you do develop it, come to somebody like me and say, here it is, it's in this virtual machine. Is it secure? And somebody like me will look at it and tell you, by the way, you can do this. Please fix it. You know, so this was never checked. So keystroke logging was prevalent in 2001. And that includes the SQL. That's what keystroke logging looks for, SQL commands and injection attacks. So let's see, Trojans, targeted direct by Trojans, crafted to capture account login details. It can get a bit tricky what I can talk about at this point. Okay. Phishing security tokens, yeah. Malware, black market, yeah. Real ID. Sale of virtual goods in the real world, yeah, that's another subject, all of its own. So crossover references. No, it's not going to go into much about languages. But the languages it was made in may surprise you, because it was released in 2001. Have I still got that one open? Released 2001. Here we go. So look when it was released. Just after C#. So we know C# really didn't play a big role in this. What it did use was JavaScript, Ruby, PHP, Java, a little Python, Perl possibly, C++, oh yes, SQL. So you use languages that were already 30 years old. And that language is still going today. Jesus. Thank God I don't use. As soon as, the first thing I ask is, have you got a database? And they'll say, yeah, of course we have. Does it use SQL? And they'll say, oh yeah. I'll say, well, there you go. You're not secure. That's your answer. What do you expect? You know, do you expect the people in 1972 to know what the computers of 2019 could do? What this computer can do compared to a computer then? Oh my God. The difference in the computers, just the computers, not anything else, not the fact that all of these languages have been invented, which can just walk straight through SQL. Is it secure? No. Are databases secure? No, not usually. Which is why I say put all your development onto a hard drive or a USB stick and unplug it. Should you use databases? There we go. Okay, this is a good one. You're going to love this one. Alright, in developing an idea, we're still in here. The database. Alright. I love this question. I think it's so funny in 2019 that people are still asking this goddamn question. And it is, which database should I use? What is the answer to that question? Anybody in chat? Come on, which database should I use? Easy. Nothing in chat? You're not gonna fall for this one, are you? Okay, I'll do it for you. None. You don't need to. What is a database? You don't need one, is the answer. The biggest security risk today on the internet is a database. And everybody thinks they need a database. They need the database to store the passwords. They need the database to store the credit card numbers. And that's the most insecure part of your system. And that is the place where you are going to store the most secure data or secret data. You do not need a database. You should not use one. All a database does is arrange data into pretty looking files or store it in blocks. Okay, what does a database do? A database just stores blocks of memory on a hard drive and then reads that information on request to your program. Okay? So your program's here. This is it. This is just data. And usually held in the format of SQL. What is that database? It's saved files on a hard drive full of data in the format of SQL. Why do you need a database? Because you want to store data. Why can't you just save a file? Oh, and why don't you at the same time save that file to one of these like chip ones? What, these newfangled hard drives? Hard drives, yeah. Solid state hard drives have been invented. And as soon as you have solid state hard drives, you no longer require a database. All data can now be held within memory. Because that's what a solid state hard drive is. It is persistent memory. What do you need a database for? You don't. They are no longer needed. If you need data to be saved in persistent memory, you have the choice. You do not need to use a little spinny disk called a hard drive, which is slow. You can now use speedy, very, very fast access, persistent memory. I know this because it's on this computer. And it's actually got my operating system for Windows on it. My Linux system happens to be on a spinny hard drive in the same machine, and only half of that spinny hard drive as well. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, in the old days, when you were short of memory, this persistent or memory which you hold for the CPU, it's RAM. When you were at like 8 or 16K, yeah, my first machine was 32. Yeah, 32K was its memory. It had an assembler on board, and I just typed in assembler, or ASM, hit return, and I was in the assembler, and I could write code. Beautiful machine, called a BBC Model B. Now, the thing is, what we used to have required databases because we wanted to store more data than we could fit in our memory. And we had to transfer it to a persistent device called a hard drive, which could survive being shut down. So you could switch the computer on and off. Otherwise, you couldn't switch the computer off. You know, it's one of those things. If you couldn't load something from that hard drive, you were stuffed, basically. Now, that's how it used to be. The hard drive was the integral centerpiece of data storage. And to make it easier for data storage, they invented something called a database. And they invented a language called SQL to manage that data on that physical hard drive. Okay, if you are using a 30-year-old computer, you need a database. Hands up, I will admit it. If you're going to do any kind of substantial program that handles data, you will need a database on a machine that's 30 years old. If you are using a current machine with current technology, there won't be a hard drive. The center of the system has changed. The focus of computers today is no longer the hard drive. If you wanted to expand your computer in the old days, you bought either another hard drive. Have a look at how computers were developed with how many hard drives can you stuff in your computer. That was the integral point, the whole focus of every computer. How much memory could you store permanently? That's now changed. The hard drives are becoming irrelevant. And as hard drives become irrelevant, so do databases. They are now redundant. The data never has to leave memory. You no longer have to transfer it. You can access it directly, which is a damn sight faster than using a hard drive and SQL, which, by the way, is pretty slow. I hope I've made my point, because 2019, I think, is the first year in which Oracle has realised that their 30-year-old, 40-year-old baby has aged, it's matured, it's got old, and it's about to die. This is a turning point in computers. Computers in the future will no longer be sold with stacks and stacks of slots where you can put a hard drive. A tower these days still has all of these slots where you can put hard drives. I wouldn't buy another physical hard drive if you paid me. Why? I can get more persistent memory. It would be stupid of me to buy a hard drive. I would buy a hard drive for my what's it called down there? My little server, because it doesn't have persistent memory slots. It only has hard drive slots, and it can hold a few. But that's an old computer. It's probably about 20 years old, I think. Its design, anyway. Had a look inside. The design of it's about 20 years old. But that's designed for SQL, that server. It doesn't run SQL, thank God. Now, I want you all to think about this seriously, because by next year we will be looking at atomic computers in a different light. We will be looking at the computers sold on the shelves in a different light, and whether they're just going to become small boxes that are going to be like half the size of your keyboard. I think they're already starting that way, but that's how computers will be. There won't be like CDs. What happened to them? I blinked for a couple of years and CDs disappeared. I've got a load of CDs lying around and no CD player. Oh dear. But this is it. This will kill the database. So don't, please, ever start using database technology. If you do, you're killing yourself. You're killing your software. It's not future-proofed anywhere. Right, I think I've done a little bit of a rant there. I must have done, because we've now gone to the 2-hour mark and I'm on questions and answers. So I went through a lot of the stuff that I do. What you see on screen is my setup for doing it, obviously. I have a notepad open which I write on, and I have my file system on the left, and I have other things like just to look stuff up and basically put together stuff. I hope that if you like or want me to carry on in doing more of these, I'm quite happy to do so. I'm quite happy to expand on what I've done today. I think that was a massive introduction to our introduction to my job. And I think we've covered about 10% of what I do. I mean, on the research side alone, what I do is huge. On the development side, you see quite a lot of it on the other videos. All of those videos have development points in mind. They're all developing certain bits and pieces for 3D, and how 3D can be altered to make use of different things. You have noticed that I have not got a database, and we're doing fine. Any questions? I mean, is there anything, or do you want me to cover anything in particular? Do you want me to write some JS? I can, I suppose. Or put something together in JS. There's frameworks, I probably wouldn't use one. I don't think I'd like to. FuseLibs looks okay, that looks like fun to look into. I could download that. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm open to suggestions, really, for this series. We're looking at research and development, so that's what I'm going to title the next. This one is the introduction to what I do. So the next one probably will be titled just Research and Development, and we'll look at something. Okay, Linksycat says, yeah, go down the Fuse platform route. Okay, I'll do that. So next episode, let's plan ahead. So I've got something. Next, we will have a look at Fuse open / Fuse libs plural. Okay, and we'll do research and development on that subject. So that's the subject, and the action is research. We always say research and development, and it isn't, in truth. It's research to do development. Okay. Not a problem, Linksycat. Linksycat's looking at the Fuse open, Fuse libs, and it isn't quite seeing how it all fits together, which is fine. I mean, that's absolute brilliant. It's because it's a fantastic area to show what I do. And between the two, but maybe I'm just no, you're not missing something, Linksycat. No. It takes ages to learn what I know. Don't you worry. It took me 40 years to get to the position where I can just look at a screen and say, oh, right, we'll go and look at this then. Or it'll fit in with this. Or it'll fit in with that. Or possibly this, that and the other. So, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the research and development on it. That's good stuff. Is there... no. I can't ask that question. Act... result. I'm going to do that one because it's something that you might do. There is one that I would like to do, and that is I'd like to build a little window that can stick somewhere on my screen, and it will check my YouTube channel every minute or so, and it'll update how many followers I've got. But I'm not that vain. I was thinking of doing that. It'd be funny. But all the stuff that I'm looking at here would work to do that. So yeah, just getting the APIs right and stuff like that. So, subject, Fuse open, Fuse libs. Action, research and development. Result, build a clock. Okay, I think that's good. I think we'll finish there. And see how we can join it all up. We'll use... we'll include... Ouch, don't do that. Let's get back to our initial... stuff. So what I'll try to use is where we started, electron and mono. Yeah, look at the journey. That's research. This is now a research pad with a lot of information on it. Very useful information on it. So that's what we'll be doing next. We'll be using I'll write up the end bit, and actually I don't know if I might write all this up actually. Hand it in. Just make it into a small paper for anybody who needs it. Okay, so that's now become useful. Thank you very much for letting me meander. People don't realise that is the best way to do research, but meandering is good. Going off at tangents is never a good idea. Never go off at a tangent. If you've got a subject matter, keep with it. But if you want to do research, that was the first step. The development side, I think we're going to see a bit more of that when we start using Fuse Open or Fuse Libs and stuff like that. We'll see more development that way. Excellent, so I'll have code and stuff to show. That's good stuff. Next episode, I'll book it in for next Thursday. So, next episode will be Thursday, 2 p.m. British time. So, next. We'll take Thursday slot. I haven't got anything on a Thursday. 2 p.m. And the title is Bladez World. I could do a logo for it, couldn't I? Put a pling on the end, maybe? An exclamation? No. Okay, that's what we're doing. It's all set. It's on the pad. That's my brain box. That's what we're going to do. Fantastic. I really, really would like to thank Linksy for opening this up as a possible series. If it gets a good response and people want more, YouTube people, use comments below. Twitch people, if you like it, yeah. I don't know what you're doing, Twitch. Send me a message, I don't know. Alrighty, so I'm going to get off now, let you all get a break, and I hope it helps. I hope something in there will help you. So take care, keep researching, keep delving into things, and of course, have fun.